In popular culture, the stereotype of a metalhead is less than flattering, whether it's headbanging, Satanism, mosh pits, or the decapitation of small animals. Thank you, Ozzy Osbourne, for that one. Even within medical institutions, metal music has been associated with depression, aggression, and antisocial behaviour. But more recent studies are telling a different story. That metal music could in fact help us emotionally regulate. Can metal music really make us calmer? I wanted to take a look.
Is death metal music just hype or something that could actually hurt your kids?
Certain kinds of musical expressions have the potential to serve as a medium for evil spirits to work through.
Is this a ridiculous notion, or is Satan rampant in rock?
Most of you will have an idea on what metal music is, but for the purpose of this, I'm going to give you a definition from one of the studies I will be citing. Metal music, and anything that's generally categorized in the extreme music genre, is characterized by chaotic, loud, and heavy sounds with emotional vocals. The lyrics often explore themes of anxiety, depression, anger, social isolation, and loneliness. So, is it possible that a genre that has all these negative themes have a positive impact on someone's life? In my work as a vocal coach, I have come across lots of self-proclaimed metalheads who are lovely, kind, balanced people. I wanted to hear what they have to say.
The idea that these, giant, tatted up, pierced up people walking down my hallway were gonna eat me alive was very quickly dispelled, because everyone was charming and well-mannered and articulate and passionate and just the people that I like to be with.
I think it's the friendly way to enjoy aggression in your ears. You only find very calm people, very friendly people who just like enjoying what they are seeing, what they are listening to. And you can talk to everyone. I mean, no one will be aggressive with you, and everyone will just be like, hey, you don't know these things, come with us and share it with us. And that's what I love in the metal music as well.
Every emotion, it's important. You cannot go outside and fight with the people, We must canalize in a healthy way, and I think music is the best way to canalize our emotions. It's a therapy too.
A lot of people just try to find an answer to all the questions that they have inside. People seek for some secrets maybe to be revealed. They try to find some help in music.
So these people not only seem optimistic about metal, they all just seem lovely. But what does science have to say? Well, first of all, it seems that scientists, like the rest of us, can be led along by stereotypes too. Let's first look at a 1991 study that claims that if you listen to metal music, you're more likely to be admitted to psychiatric hospital. This study was based on scientists contacting clinicians at 12 psychiatric hospitals, posing as the worried parents of John, a fictitious adolescent male who listened to heavy metal, wore skull t-shirts, and didn't clean his room. Although concern was expressed when contacting the hospital, it was also clearly stated that John did not do drugs, have any symptoms of mental illness, and was even doing well in school. Without having met John or conducting a proper psychiatric assessment, 10 out of the 12 psychiatric hospitals recommended admitting John to hospital. John was not advised to be admitted because of actual mental illness symptoms, but because of biased clinical judgment, part of which seems to have come from his association with heavy metal. Of course, psychiatric care has moved on a lot since 1991, and I am sure this wouldn't happen today. However, I think it's important to explore what could have led them to believe this. Let's have a closer look at the stereotypes. Anger and aggression are the first that pop to mind and perhaps the most pervasive in society. In 1987, Gowan, Smith and Bloom ran an experiment which found that metal music did, pretty uniformly, cause increased heart rate and brain activity, which could be signs of anger. And indeed, some people did report feeling angry. But crucially, only those who were not metal fans. It was unclear whether the fans were driven to anger because of something in the music, or because they were being asked to listen to something that they didn't enjoy. A more recent study by the University of Queensland found that rather than metal music causing anger, it can help you process it. It was a small sample, but 39 extreme music listeners were asked to recall an event that makes them angry. Then they were asked to either sit in silence or listen to the extreme music of their choice. All of the participants showed decreased levels of hostility, irritability, and stress, including the metal listeners, some of which even reported feeling inspired after listening. And this is the interesting part to me, the part in which extreme music listeners were asked what effect metal music had on their wider life. 69% reported that they listened to extreme music to calm themselves down when feeling angry. 87% reported that even if the music had sad themes, it enhanced their happiness. For those drawn to it, it actually seems that metal music might have a cathartic effect. The next stereotype, depression. In 2013, a study of over 500 university students found that heavy music listeners were more likely to experience symptoms of depression and anxiety. Although, again, it is important to note that this was self-reported in a questionnaire. I was really interested in this and wanted to look a little bit further, so I found a study that looks at personality types and the type of music that you listen to. This study showed that metal music fans tend to be more open to new experiences, have a need for uniqueness, and also have lower self-esteem. So, although there does seem to be a link between metal music and depression, it's unclear whether the metal music causes depression or if depressed people are attracted to metal music. Perhaps this even strengthens the idea that metal music is a cathartic experience. If metal music is linked to depression, surely we will see some long-term effects. Well, another study from the Humboldt State University followed the life experiences of musicians and fans from the 1980s to see if the music had a negative effect on their lives as they got older. They looked at stereotypical reckless behavior to see if there was any difference between heavy music lovers and non-fans. Turns out they were no more likely to have attempted suicide, to have sex earlier, or to experience physical or mental problems as an adult. In fact, the metalhead identity and tight-knit community served as a protective factor against physical and mental ill health. This meant that they were significantly happier in their youth and sometimes better adjusted than their middle-aged counterparts. So, as you can see, I have found some contrasting studies, and I know a lot of you watching will be self-proclaimed metalheads. I'd love to know your thoughts and experiences, how metal has affected your life. Has it been positive? Has it been negative? I'd love to see the discussion in the comments. But what if you just don't like metal? Well, as I said earlier, it's all about preference. It may seem like common sense, but musical preference really does affect the music that people find stimulating, relaxing, or soothing. If you prefer rock music, then despite common thought, listening to classical music might not make you feel any calmer. It might even frustrate you. And if you love classical music, then rock music might not be your cup of tea. It's all down to our musical tastes and our individual and changing emotional needs. In fact, our music taste affects us so much that listening to music you dislike over music that you do like actually affects our ability to rotate objects in our mind. Yeah, bizarre. So what have I learned from all this research? Well, first of all, we need to consider how susceptible we are to stereotypes and quick judgment. Given all we've heard, I understand why parents, teachers, and health practitioners might be concerned about their clients or students listening to extreme music and what that might mean to them. And if you're not drawn to it, the aggressive content might make it difficult to understand how it could help someone. It's almost traditional for us to be suspicious of new genres that are different than our own preferences, so much so that it's ironically become a stereotype in itself. The older generation hearing contemporary music and worrying that it's a potential danger to our moral compass. Actually, it's kind of funny to realize that the criticisms of metal music were closely akin to the criticisms of the jitterbug and earlier the Viennese waltz. Metal music, although being widely recognized as something that causes emotional volatility, actually might help people emotionally regulate for the people that like it. So much so that music-based interventions are now being used in psychiatric care. These music-based interventions are found to be useful in the treatment of lots of disorder that commonly involve emotional volatility, including PTSD and substance misuse. It seems these days things would have gone very differently for John from the first study I mentioned. But this isn't just relevant for people already getting psychiatric care. Traditionally, we ask people to suppress their negative emotions, then punish them for their outbursts. Perhaps there's another way that focuses more on prevention than punishment. What if we turn our focus to helping people process emotions, of course in ways that don't impact other people? What if music could be a tool that could be used in lots of different situations and institutions? Music tastes are wide and varied because we have wide and varied personalities with wide and varied needs. Perhaps it's time that we cater to these individual needs. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found it interesting and will spark some discussion in the comments. It certainly got me thinking. If you did enjoy, please do like and subscribe, and also please do check out my Patreon, which is patreon.com/BethRoars. You get early access to some of the episodes, you get to vote on some of my reactions, and also it really supports the channel. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Bye. Down.